Hi everybody, it is Friday and I am in Laredo, Texas. And I mean, I am right at the border, probably 3 blocks that way. It's the border. I'm at they call these relay companies that take your Mexican products, bring them in here, put them in American trucks, and American trucks move them into the rest of the United States. This is a backhaul that frankly truck drivers dread, is getting in one of these companies like this and getting stuck. I've been here for 2 hours. Now, 2 hours isn't too bad if it's in the middle of the week. It's Friday. Every second that I'm here is another second that I'm not going to get home tomorrow. And everybody is not too worried about how long I have to wait here. This is the one that you dread, friends. I don't know how long it's going to take, but as you can see, the old trailer is empty. And ran into some strangest thing. Ran into some rain today, and I don't usually get rain down this far south and west, but it rained all the way from a little town called Raisin, which is over by north of Corpus Christi. Rained from there almost all the way over here to Laredo, and it stopped before I got into Laredo, and that's what it looks like. It's dry now. Here's the debris on the ground. You see everything's dry. Here's on the tire, you can see down here in the rim, still water in there from the rain. But I'm going to be here until I get the load on this Friday, and so do not have any idea how long it'll take. But I'll update you later on today, I promise. Because I'll have to stop somewhere along the way and tighten the load down, because I think I'm either getting barrels or bags. I'm not sure which. I think it's going to be bags, super bags, kind of like this guy got next to me here. See those? That's about what I think I'm going to get. So get 22 of them, each of them weighing 1,100 pounds. And so it's going up to Omaha, Nebraska, to my old ex-employer, Watco. No kidding. Watco is a short line railroad company. They taught me how to be an engineer and a brakeman, conductor, and how to get stepped on and abused, because they're good at it. That's for you, Jimmy. So, but they came in pretty handy when I was in between ministries, and I have to say it was a blessing because it got us through a tight spot. But anyway, that's all I have to say on this one. Don't know how long I'm going to be here, but I'll update you a little bit later on to see how long it took. All right. Time right now is 2 o'clock. I got here at noon. Nobody seems interested. We'll let you know. Just wanted to give you a little view here of a Corvette Club that's going up here on I-35 north of Denton. There's the newest one right there. That is a 2020. This looks to be about it's an 85. Here comes a 62. Let's say that's a 62 right there in that general neighborhood. Convertible. Pretty cool, huh? Yep. And let's say this is going to be a 90s version there. And that's an HR that ain't got no business being in there. Maybe a PT crew. He's supposed to be in there. This is an early, say Hello, my friends. I hope you enjoyed that that little Corvette display there. Just happened to see that north of Denton, and I bet you that Corvette Club is a cool Corvette club. Well, anyway, I told you I'd give you an update on what is going on. It's Saturday morning, just barely. It's 11:16 on Saturday morning. And I am north of the WinStar Casino, just north of the Oklahoma border on I-35. Well, let me tell you why I'm only this far. Came out of Laredo yesterday, and it took me 3 hours to load down there at that location. I told you about that. I'll show you the load here in just a second. Once I got out of there, then started heading north on I-35, and first thing you got to do is you got to weigh, make sure you're okay. Said I've got 46,000 pound cargo, and my truck, when I'm with full fuel, weighs 32, 150 with a flatbed. And so if you put 46 and 32 together, that comes up to 78, okay? 78,000 pounds. Well, I weighed it yesterday when I had half a tank of fuel. Of course, when you're going to go in, you're going to get a big load. You don't want to fuel up before you go in. So I had a half a tank. Wound up being 76.7 in that neighborhood without half of my fuel. So
continue on the road.
Well, thank you, Marlena. That's my GPS. Decided she wanted to get on the recording this morning. Say hello, Marlena. There she is, right there, Marlena. Anyway. So anyway, headed out to weigh, and the first truck stops that you come to are a couple of a Flying J and a Pilot. That's north of Laredo. When I get down there, it usually is a little crowded. The exit ramps are, I'd say, a half mile long, and they were full. Just the exit ramps. And I looked down at the truck stops as I'm going by. When I saw the exit ramps like that, I said, I'm not going to stop. Well, as I went by, the truck stops were full, the ramps are full, the trucks are barely moving, and I'm sitting there going, you know, I need to get up to about Hillsboro, Texas on Friday night so that I can get home somewhere in the neighborhood of noon on Saturday morning, or Saturday. And so I said, well, I know there's another truck stop about 18 miles up the road. There's a Lowe's stop about 18 miles up the road. If I'm messed up and I got to go back, it won't be that bad of a deal. So I rolled on up to Encinal, E-N-C-I-N-A-L, Encinal, Texas, and there's a Love's right there. And of course, I pull into the Love's, and the nice people there, I got to say, before I have to preface this, because real nice people. But you could tell everybody that was working that English was their second language. And so when I pulled up to the scale, I said, I want to do a split axle scale. She had no idea what I was talking about. And she kept asking me if I wanted to weigh the first axle or the second axle or all this stuff. But anyway, if you want to know how to weigh a truck that's got a split axle on the trailer, go to the CAT scale website, and there's a video there, and you can take a look at it, and it'll show you. So basically what you have to do is you roll up on the scale, and there's 3 pads. Your steer and your drive are on pad 1 and 2, and your 2 spread axles on the back are on pad 3. And so the first way you go through, they weigh pad 1 and pad 2, and then you move and you split those back axles between pad 2 and pad 3, and you get your weight on each one of those axles back there to make sure you're not over, and they can hold 20,000 pounds on each one. Well, I came up there, and she just didn't know what she was doing. So I went inside. I parked and went inside, which is the biggest pain, is to park and go inside. Parked and went inside, and by that time the gal that was weighing me was leaving to go home, and the manager was there, and I told her what was going on, and she apologized. Very nice lady, and Spanish was her second language. English was her first language. And she asked me if I would go through again, and asked very nicely, and I answered very nicely, and I said yes, I would. So I went out there, and she weighed it right, and I came back in. She didn't charge me anything for the weigh. It usually costs $12, and she didn't charge me anything for the weigh. And so that ordeal took me about an hour. So I'm going back out to the truck, and as I always do, I always bump the tires before I leave, and sure enough, I've got a flat. So I go, oh my goodness, at least I'm at a Lowe's that usually has pretty good tire service. So I pull over to the tire guys, and they said it would be first in line from the people that are already in there. And so I pulled around, and it took about an hour and 15 minutes or so. By this time, I have burned an hour, and an hour and 15 minutes, I've burned 2.5 hours, which makes me getting way short of Hillsboro, Texas. And I'm going to wind up somewhere along the way, and I'm going to have to drive till like 10 o'clock at night. And you're not going to find any parking spots at 10 o'clock at night. So I just had them repair it, and I stayed down in Encinal. Encinal is 560 miles from my parking spot at home. So I decided just to spend the night at Encinal and get up early. I've been up since 3:30 this morning. Up since 3:15. Pulled out about 3:45 from Encinal. And now I'm along I-35 just north of the Oklahoma border. And that is a long story of what went through all the incidents that has now got me going to be home somewhere around 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. But that's great. That's fine. I don't have to leave early on Monday. It's no big deal. The load's going to Omaha. In fact, let's go outside and let's take a look at the load. All right. It's a little bit noisy out here, so you'll have to excuse the noise that we have going on. But here is the load. And as I said back in Laredo, I'm probably going to get these super sacks. Each one of those weighs about a ton. It's about 2,000 pounds, and it's zinc sulfate. It's a farming chemical that they use up in Nebraska for the corn crops. But just kind of show you my flat. This is the tire that went flat. It actually isn't the tire. This is the spare that we had back in the rack, and you can see that the tread's different. See that? From these, which is the tire that I run on the tractor. You see the tread is the same between those two up there. So there's the oddball. That was the spare that was back on the rack of the trailer. But let's take a look at the load here real quick, and make sure that all my straps are tight. Now this trailer that I've got right now is one of our oldest trailers, and take a look underneath here, you see that it's kind of been through it, hasn't it? I wouldn't be surprised if that one doesn't get retired in the next year or so, as they don't let them get too much beyond this before they sell them off. See, that's just surface rust, but it's time to swap them out, would you say? And you can see these treads back here are very similar to the one that the spare that I put on up there. So that's a trailer tire versus a tire that you would use for traction. All right. Now here is the flat. You can see it's a little nicer rim than those. It goes on the tractor. And the guy was nice enough to mark it it actually was a bolt that went through there, and you can see the lines around here, and the bolt went through the center. And what it did is it broke it one of the steel cords in there, broke a couple of them, and then the inside of the tire, there's a lining that seals it, and the lining started shredding with the bolt, and so it just ruined that tire. And so I'll have to take that back to Salina, and they'll swap that out. But there's the rack on the trailer, so you can see where it sits. And here's the rest of the load. So we're going to head out from here. I'm on my 30-minute break right now. I'm going to fix myself a sandwich and start heading towards my parking spot up at Tuttle, Oklahoma. And that should take me about an hour and 45 minutes to get there. And once I get there, then I'm going to take my 34 hours off. Be leaving out on Monday morning. I'm going to say probably in the neighborhood of 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. But I'm fairly tired today. I'm pretty well shot. So you guys have a real good one. Glad you could stay around and get an update what's going on Pop's Mother Road Flatbed Report. Don't forget to subscribe down here, as my buddy Scotty would say. Don't forget to ring that bell. Subscribe down there, give me a thumbs up. Trying to build up some viewership and be able to make a little bit of money on this thing. So give it a shot. Tell your friends to subscribe too, would you? All right, y'all take care.